Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Top 10 Tuesday. We got a brand new setup here. We got a lot of people on. We'll explain it all, but we are back after, I think, a 2-week hiatus. Mike? We took 2 weeks off. We're back better than ever. Very special episode because we are joined by the Season 1 champions of BattleFlix Trivia, Mr. and Mr. Unlimited. Brian and Ryan are here.
Yeah.
How has the victory parade been for you guys? How are you guys feeling post championship? Is there a championship hangover? Are you already thinking about that? What are we feeling?
The game, our last match was pretty wild. Like you couldn't have asked for a better match to end it on.
Yeah, I'm very excited for a show like this. I don't have to listen to Brian scream for about 45 minutes.
Dude, you guys' last two hints of the last two games we had were pretty cheeks.
Yeah, there's going to be some changes coming for season 2. The hint category or the hint lifeline gets real tricky just because we don't prep those beforehand, and then you have to come up with on the fly. And then if you're already on pace or if you're already close, it's hard to just not give it to you.
Yeah.
So but season 2 will be great, but we can't diminish your championship run. Only one loss on the season, and I'm going to announce this here. Has not been announced yet, but we have an MVP in our presence. Brian DeHero has been voted by the fans, by the competitors, and by the front office. MVP of season 1. Well earned. Congratulations, Brian.
Team sport. Especially the last game, Ryan was literally our only lifeline.
Well, I will say, Brian, now for season 2, the MVP trophy is going to be named after you.
Whoa!
Yeah. Yeah, so it's officially the Brian DeHero BattleFlix MVP trophy. So it's on its way here. It'll be here shortly.
It's an actual trophy.
Yeah, it's a trophy. I'm not joking. We don't nothing in BattleFlix is a joke.
That's true.
Yeah. So congratulations on that. But today we are doing top 10 movie moments. We were gonna have 4 different lists. This could be anywhere from a scene, just an actual one moment, whatever, however broad you want to think of it. But who better to have on for this episode than our season 1 champions? So we don't have a wheel, and we don't have to decide who goes first. I guess Michael, who do you want to go first? Should we let the MVP decide?
Yeah, MVP decides.
All right, Brian, you decide the order. You can pick 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Let's go Wyatt, Michael, Mead, and Ryan.
Okay, sounds good. And then for those who don't know the rules of Top 10 Tuesday, you can repeat. Repeats are allowed, and we're just running through our list, debate accordingly.
10-1.
Make all Ryan's repeats.
Yeah, so we're starting with number 10. Again, because we have 4 lists, we'll run through these quick. My number 10. Where is this? My number 10. Where'd it go? Wait, why did I already lose this? I literally had this up 2 seconds ago, and there we go. Okay, my number 10. This is a Homer pick. It's from my favorite movie of all time, and I wanted to make sure it makes an appearance here. And I think this scene itself warrants a spot on the list. Maybe not top 10 for other people, but it had to make my top 10. I'm going with the opening scene of Baby Driver. So this is, if you don't remember, it's the escape bank robbery, and it's all set to the tune of Bell Bottoms, the song, and every single cut in action that he makes in the car, Ansel Elgort's character, every single it's set to the tune of the song, so you can hear as it cuts. It's really cool, and if you haven't watched it, it's 5 minutes long. Go watch it. But it's my favorite movie of all time, probably my favorite director of all time, and Edgar Wright. He's not showing up for the rest of my list, so I wanted to get his name in there. But I love that scene. It gets me jacked up, and I wanted to make sure it was on there. So that's my number 10.
Cool. Good pick. I feel like I definitely am going to have different lists than you three just because I am not a big movie person. So, I don't know. My list is pretty out there and random. But I'm going to start off with a classic Jaws scene. I was a big fan of Jaws growing up, the movie. So just the typical, you're going to need a bigger boat. Kind of that first, big shark encounter. So,
gotcha. I like most of mine are pretty recent, I'll say. So I think I
Okay.
went like a lot of recency bias, but I do like that pick. That was up there.
Yeah, I have to get Jaws in there.
It's very tough to choose because there's so many options. Ryan and I were talking about that, but I'm doing number 10. I'm doing Richard Linklater's Dazed and Confused. All right, all right, all right. When Matthew McConaughey pulls up in the car,
I
it's
like
just such a special moment for all of history.
All right. I wanted to get a Pixar movie on here. I wanted at least one. So I went with the opening montage of Ellie and Carl from Up.
Oh, that's a good
man.
one.
That's a really good one. Aren't they coming out with a like a short, like a Pixar short about him?
Yeah, I think he goes on like another date. I think that's what it's about.
I mean, that's unfair. They're just taking advantage of like the cry porn.
Pulling on the heartstrings.
Yeah, I mean, once was enough. So I don't
On
know.
the balloon strings.
They're kind of milking the cow there here too much. All right. My number 9. This might be the only comedy thing I have. I have a couple honorable mentions to our comedies, but this is the only comedy scene or moment that made my list. It's from Superbad, and it's the McLovin scene. And I just think that scene perfectly encapsulates that whole movie in general. It's hilarious. And obviously it's gone like secondary viral because of TikTok. The whole like, why the fuck, like it was between that or Muhammad. Like, why the fuck would it be between that and Muhammad? It's hilarious. McLovin is iconic. You can just see like the t-shirts of just the McLovin fake ID. It's an iconic moment. I think it's going to like continue to be an iconic moment. I don't think it's going to fade. You're going to hear McLovin. You think of that. So I'm going with McLovin as my number 9.
Yeah, I feel like people are gonna actually name their kids McLovin. Like, seriously.
We're getting close to that generation where like,
Yeah, I mean, there's
Yeah.
some really weird names now. So like,
I will say there's
well.
that one, and there's also the cargo pants quote from that movie too. That's up there.
100%.
My number 9 is I just put it Rocky training montages.
God damn
Just
it.
like
All of them?
Well, yeah,
You gotta
because
choose one.
no,
Oh.
no, because I can
on his list.
because if it's top 10 movie moments, that's kind of plural too, and it's since
Yeah.
it's plural, happens a lot. So, yeah, I mean they're pretty iconic, and they get you fucking hyped up.
Like
Like,
the best,
yeah, I mean
the soundtrack.
they're just the best. Yeah, the
There you go,
soundtrack's
Michael.
pretty cool.
Remind them whose show this is. Yeah, you can take all of them if you want. It's our show.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
our
I'm
show,
gonna take
yeah.
all of them. I'm gonna take all of them.
I'm gonna take
All right, my number 9. I was thinking about doing a few from these maybe 2 from this movie, but Jojo Rabbit by Taika Waititi, the dancing scene at the end. It was either the dancing scene or the scene where I don't want to spoil it, but he sees her shoes. But I'm like, let's make it happy. So I did the dancing scene, and that ending of the movie is one of the best endings for a movie, I think.
I love that movie. Is so underrated.
Yeah, that's my number 9.
All right. My number 9 is the D-Day scene from Saving Private Ryan.
I like it. Yeah.
I'm a huge battle scene guy, but I mean that's gotta be the top one.
Yeah, that's number 1 for sure. There's been a lot. I feel like D-Days has to be the most like portrayed battle on film, right? Aren't there a couple?
Yeah.
Or am I making that up? I feel
think
like one of
there's
is Hacksaw Ridge D-Day? No.
No. I also think that there's a few in Dunkirk that I think might rival with no, never mind. I still think Saving Private Ryan's
That
better.
shot in Dunkirk could have been on this list, and it still might be on one of your lists,
Yeah.
where he's like covering his ears and like the explosions. That
Yeah.
could be up there, but you can't argue with that pick, Saving Private Ryan. My number 8, I'm gonna go to the animated realm of things. I'm going fairly recent. I'm going Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the leap of faith scene where the camera flips and it's like he's actually rising up and he's falling down. And I just wanted to put this movie on my list because I think in terms of like animation style, it was so just like different than what anyone has seen that it deserves to be on this list. But that scene in particular is really well done and really cool and like gets you chills every time you watch it. And I'm not a big animation guy. Like I will be the first to say I have a bias towards anything. Like even if someone says is a top tier animation movie, I won't believe it. But even that scene, that movie gets me every time. Very good. So I'm putting that one as my number 8.
Okay, for my number 8, I feel like I have to get a Christmas movie in here. I don't know if anybody else is like gonna just skip over the best types
I mean,
of movies.
you don't have to, but
No, but I have to. This isn't my favorite Christmas movie, but it's a good moment of a great old Christmas movie, and that's It's a Wonderful Life. The ending scene when George Bailey is just like choosing life, and just the whole celebration, and the whole like running into the like living room, just Merry Christmas, and I don't know, it's very heartwarming and tells you the true meaning of Christmas. For sure.
That was on my honorable mention for sure.
I'll be the first to say I haven't seen it all the way through.
Oh,
I know.
It's like a classic. Like
I know.
not
It's one of
just
those
a
things.
Christmas movie either. It's like a regular.
I wouldn't even call it a Christmas movie, really.
I know.
It's a Christmas
I
movie at the
never
end,
sat
Ryan.
I probably honestly at this point I don't think I'll ever watch it all the way through. There's like no point I'm too far gone.
Yeah,
Just
it's
next
the
Christmas
fairly
and-
Dickinson of the quotes. Sorry.
I'm done. Yeah.
funny, it's hilarious.
Oh yeah. Wait, yeah, Mike. We haven't been. Wait. Pause. We haven't been on since that.
I'll take these out. You want to keep talking? I'll
No,
take
we're
these out.
joking.
Okay, we're done talking about that.
All right.
This is
Sorry.
this is Top 10 Tuesday. We're talking about movies. We're not talking about sports. This is the only thing I could find quick. I was just like shirtless
That's
before,
tough.
so I was like, I need to put on a shirt. And so
You probably would have been better off doing it shirtless, honestly. Because I would have forgot.
thank you.
but
Wow, that's such a great compliment, Wyatt. Thank you.
You're welcome. Go, Michael, or go, Brian.
Number 8 is I'll also do a spoiler warning. It's from 2010, so you had plenty of time to watch it. But the realization when they're sitting down at Shutter Island and the process of that,
Yeah. Wait.
and like you're still figuring out what's happening. You're like, is he like, or is the situation still? And then you're like, you hear his line, and you're like, oh shit.
Wait. Are you talking about in like the lighthouse where
Yeah.
like the dude's explaining everything, or at the very end when him and Ruffalo are sitting?
I'm
there?
talking about the very end because I was still kind of confused at the very end when they're sitting on the steps because you're like, is he like lying to him or is he still like, in his world? And then
that's beautiful.
Until he says that line, you're like, oh, okay, I get it now.
I still think it's up in the air. I still think that's kind of the point of it. I think it's a beautifully done like last line of a movie. I still think you could argue either way whether he knows or not. But I'm on
the look and the
I'm on your side. I'm on your side, but I think it could be argued either way.
Yeah,
I
but
love
that moment you're like, oh.
That movie's so good. All right. I just realized I said Saving Private Ryan was my favorite battle scene, and then my number 8 is a battle scene. It's the Battle of Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings: Two Towers. I think it's incredible when they slide down the stairs on the shield with the bow and arrows. Oh,
it's been a while since I've seen it, but
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, why?
I need to sit through the Lord of the Rings. I know.
Lord of the Rings.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy. Sorry, it is what it is. That's why you guys
get
the champs
more
and not
reaction
me.
if we were Lord of the Rings people, Ryan, but I'm sure.
Dude,
Yeah, that'll probably do. That'll get a good fan.
Lord of the
vote.
Rings fans.
I am, but it's been like I haven't watched them in a while because they're just like I don't know. It just reminds me too much of Drew McGrath. You know what I mean?
All right, my number 7. It's actually been mentioned already, but it hasn't been picked. It's from Jojo Rabbit. It's the shoe scene where he's walking around kicking rocks, and then it's honestly I want like just that shot where it's him and he hasn't looked yet, and you see the shoes, and that shot right there is like holy shit, and it just like
it's just so unexpected.
I know. Well, and then like you look back and how beautifully it's like set up, and it's just it's a gorgeous shot, even though it's tragic. That whole movie, I love that movie. But I wanted to put it in here. So yeah, I'm going with the shoe scene, Jojo Rabbit. And if that's a spoiler, whatever, I don't care.
You said shoe scene, so like you don't know who.
You're right. Oh, sorry, I should explain it. Yeah, the mom dies, Scarlett Johansson. She's hanging there.
Wait, has Michael not seen it?
No, I'm not even joking. I don't watch movies.
Yeah.
As long as you're not gonna watch, I would feel bad if I just point that out. It's like, oh yeah, that part.
Jojo Rabbit. What's it
I just
called?
want to. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not the other time.
Michael, you would actually really like this movie. I think it's
Not
not a big part
anymore.
at all. It's not a big part at all. It's like the opening scene.
This is like not. Oh wait, I totally have seen this trailer.
Yeah,
For sure.
Hitler's like a real character in it. Just,
Yeah.
But he's funny. Hitler.
He's actually
Hitler's
funny,
still a
yeah,
terrible
he's-
person, but he's funny.
It's funny Hitler. Yeah,
But bad. Still bad.
All right.
dark comedy. It's like a dark comedy Hitler.
That's kind of. I feel like that's the best Hitler.
Yeah, I mean, it would be better than like
the
dad,
best Hitler.
dad joke Hitler.
All right. For my number 7, I've actually never seen this movie, but I've seen the scene, so I'm counting it.
Okay.
Mainly because I just looked it up actually today, and it's from Scarface, and it's to say hello to my little friend. Scene.
Yeah.
It's kind of badass. I watched it because I always knew like the saying. I never, seen the movie, but watched the clip today, and I was like, that was fucking badass, Al Pacino. So, yeah,
I like the
I'm
pick.
going with.
Hell yeah. I'm laughing because one time at Our Lady Mount Carmel, Claire Murray and some of the other girls were filming like a peace video, and it was just like me doing like a gun. I was like the bad guy. I was like, say hello to my little friend, but they put like music over it, so I'm just going like pew pew pew. pew. All right, my number is a 7. Yeah, my number 7 is the black hole scene from Interstellar where he's punched on the books. That's my number 7. He's like, no, and I love the memes where it's like the Colts about to trade for Carson Wentz, and they're like, no.
I feel like you could pick a lot from that. I feel like we haven't heard the end of that movie. I'll say that.
Okay, but black hole scene, I can say the whole thing.
It's a good pick.
All right. My number 7 is the "It's Not Your Fault" scene from Good Will Hunting.
That's good.
It's very good. That's a very good pick.
Ryan's never seen Good Will Hunting. He's lying.
He's just making it up.
True. We didn't know the name of the doctor from Good Will Hunting during BattleFlix.
No. Fuck.
Yeah, that was bad. You guys couldn't get that.
No. Fuck.
Good. All right.
Matt
Well,
Damon.
what am I? Number 6? Yeah,
Yeah.
number 6. I'm gonna go with. Okay, so I'm going with the opening scene of The Dark Knight, where you're introduced to Heath Ledger's Joker. It's a beautifully set up, just introduction to a villain, the best villain ever depicted on screen. Heath Ledger's performance, one of the best performances of all time. You could argue the best. Just that whole introduction where he's masked, and then you don't know like where he is, and then you slowly like figure it out, and then that reveal in the music, the score is so cool when he rips the mask off and he's got like it's like a dynamite or bomb in the dude's mouth, and the score is awesome. Very cool opening scene. So yeah, I'm taking that scene from The Dark Knight.
Do you know who you're robbing from? I think that's
Good
the
pick.
line.
I also love the moment where like he drives away from the bus and it pulls the grenade or
like
whatever,
smoke.
and it's a smoke. That's so cool.
I'm going with the first Star Wars moment of today, and I'm just going with the "I am your father" scene. Kind of like a layup pick. I also do have another Star Wars scene.
Spoilers.
Whoa.
Okay, shut up. If you haven't seen Star Wars, then just like whatever. But yeah, it's kind of an iconic scene and one of probably the most iconic movie series, at least for guys, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa.
What? I'm most iconic for girls by like Twilight. I don't know. Like,
I don't know, man. Everyone likes Star Wars. No.
Not everyone likes Star Wars, but like, I don't know. I think it's
don't know.
definitely the most iconic scene of that trilogy. For sure.
Yeah, I like Star Wars. I'm not a big fan of the incest.
Yeah.
It puts a downer on it, but other than that, it's a solid franchise.
So my number 6, it's crazy that Wyatt said this at his 6, but mine is from The Dark Knight. It's the interrogation scene.
Oh, like it.
All right.
You never start with a hat. The victim gets all fuzzy.
That was good.
That's good.
That was solid, man. You got any
Actually,
more?
He just picked that one so he could do his impression.
No, I mean I did. I can do more if you want me to.
Do the whole scene. Go.
The amount of times I've heard this scene from him.
You're gonna have to break your only rule. Everyone just goes after everybody. There you go. Hey.
Give him
That's
the
MVP
Oscar.
right there. That's MVP. Right there.
All right. My number 6, I went with the Rocky training montage. I went
All of them?
specifically with Rocky 1 when he's running through Philly and runs up the steps. But if I can combo it, I want Rocky 4 also when he's in the Siberian mountains training for Drago. When
That one is pretty nice. Yeah.
So yeah, I'll combo Rocky 1 and 4 training montages.
Okay. I like the pick of selecting 2 of them. So you're like,
Yeah.
these are the best, where Michael is claiming all of them, a little
Yeah,
greedy.
the more the merrier.
Even
The
Rocky
merrier.
5, when I don't even know what happens in that one.
Is that the street fight one?
Yeah.
That's bad. Michael, do you claim all the Creed ones as well? Because it's technically under the same.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Just make it.
I'm
I'm
not a
just
big-
clarifying.
I'm not a big fan of the Creed movies, to be honest.
Fair enough. All right. We're on 5 now. My number 5, a certain host of The Bum just recently watched this movie for the first time and cried his eyes out. It's the final scene of La La Land. That entire just last, I don't know how long it is. But that entire basically like third act is heart-wrenching, devastating, hard to watch, but also like you can't take your eyes away. And it's the whole, and the way Ryan Reynolds can just like depict an entire wave of emotions with just like a look is incredible. Oh, did I say Reynolds? Shout out Gosling. Yeah, I saw Michael's. I do that all the time. Actually, I saw Michael's face. And I was like, "What did I fuck up there?" You're right, Gosling. Sorry, my bad. But they're both so talented, and just putting them in a movie together is unfair. But yeah, that entire final scene of La La
They've been in
Land.
like 5 movies together.
Yeah.
Well, that was
Was that Crazy Stupid Love? Is that
Crazy
the
Stupid
one?
Love is very
Great
underrated
movie.
movie.
Great one, yeah. But yeah, I'm taking that scene.
Oh
Mike.
shit.
Number 5.
Number 5. Oh, bet. So while we're on the rom-com topic, my favorite genre of movies, kind of, is the When Harry Met Sally, the final monologue. I'm not gonna lie, I saw Harry Met Sally for the first time about like 8 months ago, and I cried during it. Like it was great. It was great, and it truly is like whenever I saw like, oh, this is the best rom-com of all time, I had to give it a go, and it truly was like the best rom-com.
It's up there,
I've
yeah.
ever seen. It's a classic. So
You didn't want to go with the fake orgasm scene?
no, that was funny. I was thinking about that, but like I don't know. I'd rather have the heartwarming. What makes you cry at the end.
Yeah, sometimes you got to think about what looks good on a list, and
that too.
I don't know. That one could be a crowd pleaser, or it could turn the people away. So, nice.
My number 6 is, or 5, right?
5, yeah.
Yeah, my number 5 is the Indiana boy, James Dean. You're tearing me apart from A Rebel Without a Cause. It's just him and that whole movie is just crazy. The way he moves his body, and then I don't know, he's just one of the best actors of all time. And like, you're tearing me apart, and like it's just like one of those lines that's been like parodied so much.
That feels like an MVP pick right there.
Haven't seen
I haven't. Yeah, none of us have seen that.
Not a chance.
That's why I had a few of those. I'm like, all right, I gotta keep James Dean in there for the Indiana kid.
Right, that's why he's our goat.
It's a good movie. You guys gotta watch it.
The Brian DeHeer MVP trophy.
All right, my number 5 is a strictly crowd pleaser vote. I also feel like it kind of deserves to be on here just because of how popular it is, but it's also, I'm stealing it again. It's the I'm Your Father scene from Star Wars. I feel like it's probably the most famous movie moment like ever possibly. So I felt like it just had to be on the list. It's maybe not my favorite, but it's definitely probably one of the best movie moments.
Yeah, it's not on my list. That's the tricky thing with these lists is you can go like my personal favorites or crowd pleaser, and you never know what the people are gonna vote for. That's the fickle thing about it. Which, by the way, we didn't mention, Michael. You are on a 2-game winning streak. I'm very proud of you.
Ever since you really started talking shit, like you haven't been able to back it up. That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying I was talking shit because I was
To be fair,
backing
to
it
be
up.
fair though, I think I need a dub. I think I deserve it. You know.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's why I told all the wise guys to vote for you in
Shut
secret.
up.
In
No, you
secret.
didn't. In
We had a
secret.
group
In
chat
secret.
in secret. We had a group chat, and I was
What
like,
are
"Hey
we
guys,
doing in Suico right now?
Whittly into Witty." No, we have a group chat, and I was with all the wise guys, and I was like, "Hey guys, Michael's down because of I'm not gonna say it. You guys should go vote for him in the polls." And they did it for the last 2 weeks. So I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud of you for back-to-back weeks, Michael. It's really big
To
for
be
you.
fair though, I did win the poll before this game happened, so the poll was closed before.
I mean, everyone saw that one coming, right?
Yeah.
What, me winning the poll? Me winning the poll?
No, the Purdue.
The loss. Yeah. But you're the one who brought that one up. You teed us up there, so
Yeah,
that's not on us.
Started it.
All right, my number 4. It's another final shot. I guess I'll take like the whole final moment, but basically the last line of the Truman Show, where he's walking up the steps, leaving. He's like, "If I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, or good morning, whichever one it is." You know, you guys know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole scene, that whole movie is just like a piece of like culture at this point, where like you can reference the Truman Show, and it's like almost separate from the movie, where it's like an idea of like, oh, I could be in a Truman Show situation right now. So I like stuff like that. Like, I mean, like that, it's like pop culture reference that most people will understand. So I'm going to take that last scene of the Truman Show.
Anytime anyone smokes weed for the first time, they're like, "What the?"
Yeah. They're looking around. They're like, oh my gosh.
That was one of my honorable mentions. So
Yeah. Respect.
All right, my number 4 is the last scene / quote from Shutter Island. I think Wyatt, you already had it on your list.
I think it was Ryan's list, right?
Ryan.
It was me. Yeah.
Ryan. Yeah. But yeah, iconic. I asked my roommate for not help on this list, but he's obviously more of a movie watcher than I am. But yeah, I mean, when I watched it the first time, the quote confused the fuck out of me. I haven't watched it the second time since, but it's a pretty sick quote, and Leo obviously was like amazing performance. So
Yeah.
going with that.
I
I respect it. Also, how many movies? I feel like you like your total movies is like in the double digits, and that's it.
Okay, okay. I haven't seen a movie in theaters since we saw Elvis.
Yep.
That was July. That was the last movie I've seen in theaters. But I'm
That's
going
not too long.
to see Air this coming Saturday because
Me too.
yeah.
Wait, Brian, do you think what do you think your movie number's at?
I don't know. It's got to be at least.
You think 4 digits?
I
No
think-
way 4 digits.
I think mine's 4 digits.
it's at least 4, I think, Brian.
Yeah, it's at least
Think
4.
about it.
I know someone who has another movie podcast that I've done before, and he like has all his lists, and it's like 1,500 or 1,300, and
Oh,
he gets an order of like ranked.
that's sick.
All of them ranked. Oh my
Jeez.
God.
Yeah.
I started. Well, first of all, you're working for a competitor now.
No. This was just.
All right, cool. All right, just making sure. But no, I started ranking movies during COVID. So every time I watch a movie now,
Yeah.
I start. So like, that's only a couple hundred, not even, maybe like close to 200.
What do
But
you
that's
think
always really fun.
the most.
say-
Not to get too off track, but like, what do you think is the average? Like, I guess not. You can't really. Do
Oh,
an
average
amount
Whoa.
that you watch in like a year.
I would say I'm average to slightly below average.
I feel like you might be slightly below average just by how much you say that you don't.
I feel
Like
like,
growing up, I watched a lot of movies. like
one
it's
a
just-
week
I would.
average.
Is
feel like-
200 too much?
You said one a week's
One a week
the
is
average.
average?
I feel like
No.
you may not watch one a week, but like in a year, I feel like you're watching maybe like 50 movies.
I was gonna say 25 new movies for the average person, like
But
new movies they haven't seen before.
What about in total?
We
though?
watch 25 more.
I've seen 0 new movies. I haven't seen.
Wait, is 200 too much for like total? That includes
Total.
recounts,
I
and
think that's
rewatches.
low. I think that might be low.
I
for
think
the full
rewatches should
year?
count. I think
No,
rewatches-
we
Oh,
still-
for a year. Oh, sorry, for a
year.
year. I thought you meant like their lifetime.
No,
200
for the full year. That's
200's
rewatches.
That's
I think
way
that's
too-
high.
That's
I think it's way too
200's
high.
So high. That's like 4 a week.
That's
insane.
4 weeks,
That's
dude.
probably.
that's so many movies.
That's
That's
4
8
movies
hours
a
a week.
week.
I don't know.
Brian, are you watching that much?
I
Or are
watch.
you
a
watching
decent-
200?
I watched probably. I don't know if I had to get. I should log the amount of movies I watch in a year because it's a lot.
Because I'm watching around one a week, I would say, and I watch a fair amount of movies, like a new movie a week. Like I'm probably at one, so I think 50 for me. I bet the average is like 25 to 30.
Yeah. Okay.
We're not the average. Or you're not the average movie watcher, Brian.
I feel like I gotta redistribute my time. All right, my number 4. My number 4 is Ezekiel 25:17 from Pulp Fiction. And he's like, "Say what again, motherfucker?" I love
Good
that.
pick. It's a good. I feel like there's again. That's another movie you could just grab any moment.
Yeah,
And probably
any
throw it in here.
All right. I also have another repeated movie on my list.
Classic
We can hear Brian's performance again because it's the interrogation scene from The Dark Knight.
Brian.
Let's go, Brian. Go. Give us another line.
You never start with the head. The victim gets all fuzzy. Oh, that's more like it. Yeah, you're gonna have to choose. I really thought you were Harvey Dent for a second. The way you threw yourself at her.
There it is.
It's amazing. Love it. All right. My number 3. I'm sticking back-to-back comic book movie moments. It's from the first Iron Man, the very last line. Robert Downey Jr. looks up and he says, "I am Iron Man," and then it cuts straight to the credits, like dun, 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 dun. It's so sweet.
This guy's playing to the nerds.
Yeah, I mean, and also like out of all the MCU films, which has kind of run cinema for like 2 decades, that's probably the most iconic moment. I guess it bookends with the both I am Iron Mans.
Yeah.
So like you could pick one or the other, but I'm going with the first one. And it kind of set into motion everything that came with it. So like you got all the Avengers. Basically, if that movie flops, you don't get all the other stuff. So it's important in that regard. So I'm taking the I am Iron Man from Iron Man, number 3.
Good pick. My number 3 is another Star Wars scene, which I feel like this is kind of just a personal one, where I feel like it's not, in the top 10 for literally anybody else, but it's in Phantom Menace, which is the Darth Maul versus Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi battle. I don't know. I think when I was so young when I saw it that I thought it was just the sickest thing ever. Like it was just this super cool lightsaber battle, the whole like double-sided,
the double sword.
Yeah, and then Qui-Gon dying too is like, I don't know, it was cool. Not like that he died, but like,
So sick that he died. Yeah,
it was sick that he died.
I think a lot of people our age like that movie so much more than the older generations, just because we were so young when we were watching it. We had like VHS and DVD, and we just like plop it in and rewatch it. Because that scene, that whole movie I enjoy, but like that scene in particular is so sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like Darth Maul was a big part of like our generation's like introduction to Star Wars.
They just murder him in one of the best villains right off the bat. My number 3 is King Kong Training Day. And that's just, I don't know, that whole scene got Denzel that Oscar. He's like, King Kong ain't got shit on me. Oh, it's just so good. I love how I'm just acting out all the scenes. That's my number 3.
All right. I have another crossover movie. But I went with the lighthouse scene from Shutter Island, not the one on the step.
Okay.
When I don't want to spoil the movie, but like when they mix up the names and he's got the gun, and I think that because that like explains, without that scene, there's no scene on the steps. Like I think that's where the whole movie, like comes into one, and you're like, oh my god, yeah. So the lighthouse scene.
That's a good pick. Again, Ryan is under. He has the worst position. He has to go last. So he's
I'm sorry, Ryan.
Like Ryan put me last.
Yeah, fair enough.
Before we started, he said so. Ryan's gonna have a bunch of crossover movies.
On the graphic, put Ryan first.
yeah, make sure Ryan. Yeah. So it looks like we copied Ryan.
Yeah.
I have right on cue. I have another repeat movie, different scene. Ryan, you went with the "It's Not Your Fault" scene from Good Will Hunting. I was deciding between these two. I almost went with the one you did. I'm going with "How Do You Like Them Apples," because I just like saying that a lot more than the "It's Not Your Fault" scene makes me cry, and I'd rather be happy and say, "How do you like them apples?" which is really funny. Love that scene. Love that movie. Top 2 movie of all time. Might be number 1 for me. So yeah, I'm taking How Do You Like Them Apples at number 2.
I love the flip flop logic that you had for Good Will Hunting, and then the one that you had for Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
It goes shattered.
It gets happier as my list goes on.
Yeah, my number 2 is from Avengers Endgame, and that is Iron Man dying. Obviously, it's not like, cool that he died again, but yeah, it's just like an iconic scene in, a great cinematic universe, which is Marvel. So
I just love how we were all like, for a few movies, like, oh, no spoilers. And you're like, I liked when Iron Man
okay,
died.
if you haven't, that was a big spoiler, like the first week it came out, but like at this point, if you don't know now, it's just like,
wasn't it like LaShawn McCoy tweeted out like "Rip Iron Man" like 2 hours after it came out?
I remember it off for like a week because like people were saying they got it spoiled, so I really just would not go on my phone.
Oh yeah, I deleted Twitter.
I would come back. I came back from seeing it, and Ryan was playing the Fortnite when they had all the Marvel characters on there. He's like, "Don't say a word." I'm like, okay, man.
I had made it through. I went to that movie spoiler free.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
This man's got talent. My number 2, I'm doing a repeat. End of La La Land. Just the I don't know, the amount of I forget what the word's called, where like it's on top of, but like the way like the back and forth Emma and Ryan both have is just so good. And
chemistry,
that's the word. But but yeah, the chemistry that they have is just very good. Dude, that whole like their alternate life and just like and the music, dude. I need to rewatch that movie. That movie just makes you want to do like follow your dreams, man.
That's when you get into jazz too.
Yeah,
I remember after I watched the movie the first time, I was like, I'm gonna start listening to jazz now.
Yeah, baby.
How long did that last?
I'd actually put it on when I studied because I don't know, like it's a good mellow.
There's Zach Galifianakis has during his thing, he's talking to between John Legend, and he's like, "How do you feel about La La Land making it a norm for white people to explain jazz to black people?"
But you make a good point though. I do love movies that like you come out of or you watch for the first time and it makes you like want to go do something or like either listen to jazz or like probably like follow your dreams. Like there's like it feels like there's a call to action after the movie. Those are always the best movies where you feel like an extra sense of like, all right, let's go live life a little bit. So that's a good point.
Mine was The Whale recently that made me not want to just be fat.
Hey,
buys a treadmill after watching The Whale.
Ryan's down like 10 pounds though.
Since The Whale, I'm down like 8 pounds. It's strictly
Let's go.
because of The Whale.
Shout out Brendan Fraser.
You're like, oh man, I'm 185 pounds. I feel like him. He's like 1,000 pounds.
Gosh, I wonder how many people have felt that too.
Watching
The Whale.
It's pretty gross.
Yeah.
You see a sponsor. You see like a sponsorship from like Weight Watchers at the end of the credits.
Well, I mean, it doesn't end up too good for him. So
yeah.
My number 2 is McConaughey or Cooper in Interstellar, watching the clips of his kids grow old.
Yep, 100%.
That's a tearjerker.
What part is that one?
He's like crying, and
yeah.
Jessica Chastain's on there, like
and it starts with him like young, then it's like, "Hey, Dad, I have a kid now," and then it's like, he's like bawling his eyes out. Oh,
and then his daughter glows up to become Jessica Chastain. Like that's sick.
Is that Jessica Chastain?
Yeah. He's like, wait, you're not my daughter. That's Jessica Chastain.
I remember going to see that movie, and I was supposed to go with Ryan and some other people, and then they all dipped and went to some rom-com. So I was just sitting in this theater alone watching Interstellar.
That sucks.
The plan was to go to the certain movie so we could get back to someone's house on time because their dad was picking us up.
That's not
3-hour Interstellar had to leave early.
Ryan. And I had to leave Interstellar without seeing the ending, dude.
No way.
Yeah, because Rachel's dad was like, get him out here. We gotta go.
It was so late.
What movie did you see, Ryan? Do you remember?
I can't even remember, but it was like the plan to go there. Then we got to the ticket office, and Brian's like, "Oh man, they were showing Interstellar." And
No, it was Interstellar first, and
the
then you
other
guys were like,
way.
"Fuck off! I'm not doing it."
You waddled away.
You missed a chance to see a generational movie in theaters.
You did too, Brian. You missed the ending.
But I saw most of it. I made the right decision.
I mean, whatever. All right, my number one. I'm shocked it hasn't been said yet, which makes me think it could be one of you guys' number one or not. Maybe I'm riding solo on this one, but I'm going with Shawshank Redemption, the ending scene, or not the ending scene, the escape scene where he's in the rain and the shot of him in the rain after he crawls out the pipe and hands are up, shot from below. It's raining. It's a beautiful movie. The entire movie is awesome. But basically the entire escape scene is beautiful and it's one of the coolest moments. And also, like, you include the shot of Warden when he's like throwing the rock and it goes through, and then all of a sudden that's like the cue of like, oh, this is what happened. Because up until that point, like, you have no indication. Like, it's one of those movies like you have no idea how he actually like got out, where he is, and then it cuts to what actually happened, which is really cool. But yeah, it's just the escape scene from Shawshank.
Respect.
Okay. My number one's a lot different than that. One probably my top 3 movie of all time for me, Grease, and that's the final scene when Olivia Newton-John comes out and says, "Tell me about it, stud." And then you're the one that I want. I still listen to that soundtrack probably once a week at least. Yeah, but it's a great ending to a movie.
The car flies away.
That's the only.
Why?
No one gives a shit. As I heard a comic talk about this or something, no one cares that the car flies because it's so good.
It pisses me off more than anything because I would like that movie so much more if it just didn't. If they just drove away into the sunset. Like, why fly? It makes no fucking sense.
To make it
They're
believable that all
working on
the
that
old people.
They probably put some jet fuel in it or something when they're in the shop.
Yeah, but that's what I'm going with.
All right.
All right, my number one is there hasn't been a Wes Anderson on my list, but I made him number one, baby. It's the Margaret and Richie Tenenbaum meeting again at the bus station where they play These Days and then they greet each other. It's the best.
Yeah.
Good pick, Brian.
Thank you. I wanted to hear that.
Of course.
All right. My number one is the end of the best movie of all time. It's the ending of Inception with the top spinning. And you're not sure if it falls or not. And also, it's the best song in the movie history with Time is playing during the final scene as well. So I think it's the perfect ending to that movie because you're confused the whole time and then you're still confused at the end. So,
Yep. That's a great. Yeah, I love how it cuts off right before you can tell if it's gonna keep spinning and all that. It's beautiful. That leads us straight into our honorable mentions because that was one of my honorable mentions. We want to just go around the horn. I don't know if do you guys all have some?
I got two.
Okay, so I got a few. I'll just start with mine. Mine was the Inception one. Michael?
I had a lot of scenes from The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
No, The Dark Knight. Sorry, not The Dark Knight Rises. So I'm just gonna put that movie.
Mine was Why So Serious from Dark Knight. And then I've Abandoned My Boy. And from There Will Be Blood.
I've abandoned my boy.
My son.
Those are my favorite TikToks, is where people are making fun of like best actor compilations. And it's always some dude just in the middle. I've abandoned my boy.
Say no.
I wake up every morning and I wish you were dead. And it's just he does all like the screaming clips. It's like that's how you win best actor. Just scream at the top of your lungs.
Honestly, I didn't put this, but the Dallas Buyers Club where he's crying at the end of his car, but that wasn't one of mine. But the farm scene from Inglourious Bastards, that one, and then Every Time a Bell Rings, an Angel Gets Its Wings from It's Wonderful Life, and then the last one was the Forrest Gump where she asked Forrest if he's ever been scared, and he's like doing his like goes through all of his memories where he's like, I would look up at the stars, or like during my runs I'd look up at the ocean or the lake and reflection. That's just a very cool one too. And then one more. Sorry.
No, you're good.
One more. My bad.
Yeah, we'll just run through them all. I have like 6. So
yeah, there's a lot. but I gotta toss Greta Gerwig out there when Joe March and Lori are arguing about love and what love is in the field. That's a very good scene too.
Is that Lady Bird? No,
That's Little Women.
haven't seen it.
Oh,
Ooh,
such a good
I watched it for the first time like 2 weeks ago.
Ooh.
It's one of the most perfect movies in
It's super
cinema
good.
history. It's crazy.
All right. I had 2 honorable mentions. I had the Truman Show when he's crossing the water, and then he runs into the wall. And then I had the Avengers Endgame Heroes Return scene because I just think it's the most
That one
iconic
was sick. Yes.
scene from Marvel, and I had to put Marvel in there.
Love it. All right, the other ones I had on my list, I had Social Network, the Andrew Garfield moment at the end when he runs in, slams the laptop. It's like, sorry, my product's the cleaners, along with my hoodie and my fuck you flip flops. That one, the Kaiser Soze reveal, Usual Suspects.
Oh yeah.
I had the Interstellar McConaughey cry scene. I Am Your Father. Matrix bullet dodge. I feel like that's just iconic. Like when it slows down, and because every kid when you saw that, you like try to do it like at recess or something. Just last Breakfast Club ending, just the fist pump. And then last but certainly not least is the Hot Rod Quiet Place scene where then he falls for a extended period of time, and it's really funny because I love that movie so much, and I think it's arguably one of the best comedies of all time. It stands the test of time. Last but not least, let's wrap up. I want everyone to give a movie recommendation for the people at home to go watch tonight, tomorrow, another day. I don't care, but someone everyone give out a movie for someone to watch at home. I can go first. I will go with a lighthearted choice. I think it's a very underrated rom-com. And I don't even know. I don't even know if you consider a rom-com, but I'm going with The Big Sick. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
Yeah.
I love The Big Sick. I think it's hilarious. I think it's heartwarming. It's a good little family. It's like a family film, but not childish in any way. Like you can watch it with your whole family, but it's not. I wouldn't recommend like a 10-year-old go watch it. Like
teenagers and up for sure.
yeah. It's got like
like
heavy. It deals with heavy stuff, but also like your mom who only likes fluff movies can enjoy it as well. So I'll go with The Big Sick.
Respect.
All right. Well, I want to say Air, but I haven't seen it yet. So go see it.
You can say it. Yeah, I'm gonna see it this week.
I'm gonna go with. I don't know why this movie just popped in my mind, but I remember when it came out, I watched it and I don't know why I loved it so much. I don't think it's like actually like a good movie, but I was a big fan of it when it came out, and that's Chronicle. I don't know if you guys seen it, but when that movie came out, I don't know why, but I was just obsessed with that in like 6th, 7th grade or whatever. But yeah,
because it was like one of the only ones with like a handheld and it was like digital camera.
Yeah, it was just interesting.
So good. I mean, after what you guys said, I have to give 2 older movie recommendations. I feel like people don't give the respect to older movies that they should, but because you won't get anything without those older movies. But I'm gonna go with A Rebel Without a Cause, which is the James Dean movie. I think it's on Netflix or something. And then one of the best movies I've ever seen in a theater was, I had a class for this, but On the Waterfront with Marlon Brando and Ava St. Marie. One of the best movies out there. Both are from the 50s, but they're both worth your time and energy to watch.
All right. I have recommended this movie to probably 50 people. I don't think a single person has watched it. It's Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yes.
With Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. I recommend it all the time when people ask me this question, and no one ever watches it.
I love that movie, Ryan. I will back you up on that any day of the week. I love that movie.
It's so good.
Brian
hasn't seen it. I don't think Brian's even seen it. He's seen
I
every
have
movie.
not seen it.
Brian, what?
I know it's gonna be aggressively sad for me.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's the first movie I ranked on I watched for the first time, like first movie of COVID. So it's the number 1 on my list, and it's still like a top 5 ranked movie on that list as well. I think I have it like a 94. So good.
It's so good.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining us for Top 10 Tuesday. Everyone watching at home, you can go vote on our Instagram at Good Time Content. You can vote for any of our 4 lists, whichever one you think is best. We will. I think, Michael, what do you think about having guests on more often, like we did for a good stretch there. The only issue
Yeah.
is just having the time of getting guests. I like it.
Yeah.
I think it adds some flavor.
I
So
do too.
we'll try to get some guests on moving forward. If you want to
We
be a
really-
guest, leave a comment.
We really haven't done like the punishments since like
Yeah,
November.
that
So-
I don't have the time to keep up with the stats of all that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we'll get interns in the fall, we'll make them do it.
Okay.
Who's winning the overall between you two?
That's
Well-
another great question.
So he kept losing on Twitter, the Twitter polls, and so he was just like, "Oh, we're gonna make it Instagram now." So he was just scared of my Twitter
No,
following.
the real reason we have a bigger following on Instagram. So I said, let's bring it to the people. Let's bring the vote to the people, so everyone can vote. And you have your little private burner account on
Hey,
Twitter, which
my burner account is public. It is
Which
out there. It
you
just doesn't have
blocked
my
me.
name.
You blocked
I
me
unblocked you. I unblocked you and I followed you. I
because
unfollowed you.
no, you you did unblock me,
unblocked
but
you
he
and I
blocked
followed
me
you.
because he tweeted, "Hey, just got a mullet Mike," and then I FaceTimed him and he just didn't have a mullet.
Oh
and then
my
I-
god!
and then I
was just
screenshotted
out
it.
of the shower. I was just
And
out
I
of the
s-
shower.
and I tweeted
was
it out.
wet.
And then I tweeted it
It was
out,
wet,
and then he
dude.
blocked me.
It was
Crazy.
wet. I just got out of the shower, and then you didn't take the tweet down too. Which was,
Scumbag move. I gotta keep that tweet up.
yeah, for your one
Anyways,
like, congrats.
I'm glad it's like 200 views. Thanks, Elon, for letting me see that. All right, everyone, go vote on our Instagram. Vote for your best list. Congratulations one more time to Ryan and Brian, Mr. and Mr. Unlimited, the champs, and Brian MVP. Well done. This is a perfect way to wrap up the season. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, guys.